Somewhere in Australia, someone just Googled, how much do I need to retire on 100 grand a year? And here's what most of those search results won't tell you. The number you actually need is probably not what you think. Some websites will throw out $2 million and scare you half to death. Others will lowball it so hard you'd run out of money by 74. Today, we're cutting through all of that. By the end of this video, you'll know the real numbers based on the latest 2026 data for retiring on $100,000 a year in Australia. Let's start with why 100 grand even matters. The ASFA Retirement Standard, updated February 2026, says a comfortable retirement costs around $54,837 a year for a single person and $77,375 for a couple. So $100,000 a year isn't just comfortable, it's above comfortable. It's the kind of retirement where you're not checking your bank account before booking a flight. You're replacing the car when it needs replacing. You're covering private health insurance, eating out regularly, traveling domestically every year, and heading overseas without guilt. That's what 100,000 buys you. But that lifestyle has a price tag, and the price tag depends on three big things. When you retire, whether you're single or part of a couple, and how long your money needs to last. Let's talk about the age pension first, because it changes everything. From March 2026, the maximum full age pension pays a single person about $31,223 per year. For a couple, that's roughly $47,070 combined. Now, at $100,000 a year in spending, you're going to need assets well above the age pension thresholds for most of your retirement. That means for the first 10 to 15 years, you probably won't qualify for any pension at all. But here's the thing most people miss. As you draw down your super, your asset balance shrinks. And as it shrinks, you gradually start qualifying for a part pension and eventually maybe even a full pension in your later years. And this is actually a huge deal that most retirement calculators gloss over. A single homeowner can hold up to $722,000 in assets and still receive a part age pension. For a couple, that threshold is $1,085,000. So even with a substantial super balance, there's a window where the pension starts topping up your income sooner than you'd expect. By your mid-70s, after a decade of drawdowns, that age pension payment could be covering $15,000 to $20,000 a year of your expenses. That's money you don't have to pull from your own savings. So what's the actual number? Let's break it down. If you're single, retiring at 65, and you want your money to last 30 years to age 95, you're looking at needing roughly $1.75 million. If you only need it to last 25 years to age 90, that drops to around $1.5 million. And if you're comfortable with a 20-year time horizon to age 85, you can get there with about $1.5 million as well, because the final years are where the age pension supplements your income. Now, if you're part of a couple, the numbers are friendlier. You share living costs, housing, utilities, groceries, insurance. It's all split. For a couple retiring at 65, wanting $100,000 combined per year for 30 years, you'd need approximately $1.5 million combined. For 25 years, around $1.3 million. For 20 years, roughly $1.3 million again, with the age pension bridging the gap in later years. These numbers assume a net investment return of around 5% after fees and taxes, and inflation tracking at about 2.5 to 3%. That's a realistic assumption based on a balanced to growth superannuation portfolio. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Most Australians aren't even close to these numbers. The average super balance at retirement in Australia right now sits around $390,000. That's enough for a modest retirement, not a 100K lifestyle. So if you're watching this and feeling behind, you need to hear something important. Knowing the gap is the first step to closing it. Let me walk you through 5 moves you can make right now to change your trajectory. The first is time. Every extra year you work does 2 things. It adds to your super balance through contributions and investment returns, and it shortens the number of years your retirement savings need to cover. Working just 2 extra years, from 65 to 67, could reduce the amount you need by $150,000 to $200,000. And at 67, you become eligible for the age pension, which means your super immediately gets back up. Those 2 years are the most valuable years in the entire equation. The second is contributions. The super guarantee rate in Australia is now 12%, but you're not limited to that. The concessional contribution cap is $30,000 per year, and if you haven't maxed out your cap in previous years and your balance is under $500,000, you can use the carry forward rule to make catch-up contributions going back 5 years. That's potentially tens of thousands of extra dollars flowing into your super at a lower tax rate. The third is your investment mix. A lot of Australians in their 50s are sitting in a conservative or balanced option inside their super fund. But if your retirement is still 10 or 15 years away, that money has a long runway. Historically, growth options have significantly outperformed conservative ones over periods of 10 years or more. I'm not giving you financial advice, but I am telling you it's worth reviewing. The fourth is the downsizer contribution. If you're 55 or older and you sell your home, you can contribute up to $300,000 per person. That's $600,000 for a couple, directly into super outside the normal contribution caps. And the fifth, the one nobody wants to talk about, is spending. If you're currently earning $100,000 and spending $95,000, you've got a savings problem, not an income problem. Retirement wealth isn't just about what you earn. It's about the margin between what comes in and what goes out. Start tracking where your money goes. You'd be amazed how much leaks out on things that don't even make you happy. Now let me address the elephant in the room: inflation. Australia's CPI came in at 3.7% for the year to February 2026. That means $100,000 today won't buy $100,000 worth of stuff in 10 years. In fact, at 3% average inflation, $100,000 in today's dollars becomes roughly $74,000 in purchasing power after 10 years. So when we say you need 1.5 to 1.75 million, those projections already factor in inflation-adjusted withdrawals that increase each year to maintain your purchasing power. There's another angle worth considering too. A lot of people overlook the role of casual or part-time work in early retirement. Even earning $20,000 a year from a few shifts a week in your first 5 years of retirement dramatically changes the equation. That extra income means you're drawing less from super, which gives your investments more time to compound. Over a 30-year retirement, that early preservation could mean an extra $100,000 to $150,000 still in your account at age 85. Plus, the age pension work bonus lets you earn up to $300 per fortnight from employment without it counting toward the pension income test. That's free money the system is practically handing you. Here's the part of this video that I really want you to take away. The number isn't the point. The plan is the point. Plenty of people retire with $2 million and run out of money because they have no structure. And plenty of people retire with $1.2 million, get some age pension support, do a bit of casual work in the early years, and live brilliantly for 30 years. The difference is always the plan. Know your number, know your options, and start acting on them today. If you're watching this thinking, I'm behind, good. That awareness is worth more than you realize, because the people who never do this maths are the ones who end up shocked at 65 with no options. You're here doing the work. That already puts you ahead. If this video gave you clarity, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.